This is reading lesson number 2. This video is for you if you struggle with reading. I am April McMurtry, a professional reading specialist, dyslexia specialist, and the developer of the LRn&x program, and I'm going to teach you how to read through 100 videos. It is important that you start with lesson 1, and I have that video linked for you in the description below. I will be building upon each lesson, so it is important that you watch them in order, beginning with lesson 1. Here's how these lessons will work. Lessons 1 through 10 are taken from my Begin Reading packet, and if you want to print out those worksheets, it is next to the number 1 in the description below. Lessons 11 through 90 are taken from my Learn Reading lessons, which is next to the number 2 below. And lessons 91 through 100 are taken from my Adult Reading class, which you can find next to the number 3 in the description below. If you do not purchase the worksheets to follow along with me, that is perfectly fine. I would love to teach you right here for free, but you will need a piece of paper and a pencil to copy the words down. So go ahead and pause the video, grab that paper and pencil, and then come right back. I will have 2 videos for you each week. You are free to follow along with me here for free, or you can join me at any time in my live adult reading class where I can help you more personally, especially if these lessons are a little easy for you. Again, that live class link is next to the number 3 in the description below. If you want an online tutor, I have several certified and licensed tutors that I can recommend, and that link will be in the description below as well. Okay, let's get started. Last time we worked on the graphemes R, T, N, I, and L, and we learned that those sounds were R, T, N, I, and O. Today, our new grapheme, or letter, we learned last time also, just as a refresher, that a grapheme is a letter or a set of letters that makes one sound. A phoneme is a sound represented by a letter or a set of letters, which is a grapheme. So your new grapheme today is S. S is a voiceless sound. It has only air. It should not have any voice or vocal cords used to make that sound. The sound of S is simply S. Make sure that you don't say S or S. There's no sound produced, only air, just S. So if you have these lessons, go ahead and practice all of the sounds on this page. If not, stay with me. We're going to do this next page together. So now we're going to pencil read the words on this page. And just as a refresher, and I won't give you this refresher every time, but since it is just barely new, this is only lesson 2, I want to remind you what pencil reading is. That's why you need that pencil. You're going to copy these words down if you don't have the printed copy. And as we go through each word, first we're going to mark the vowels, indicating whether it's short sound, it's long sound, it's schwa sound, and we're going to go through all of the different sounds one at a time. And I will tell you how to know what that sound will say so you never have to guess. So first, when we pencil read, we mark the vowels. Then we put a dot underneath each grapheme as we say the sound. And then we connect those dots all in one breath. That keeps all of the letters in order and puts us in control of what each one will say as we read the word. I will do the first one with you, and then I will be quiet while you work on the rest. So number 1, here's our vowel. I'm going to tap the next 2 letters. This is what I call the tap 2 rule. And if both of those are consonants, which they are, then we know that that I is going to say I. This is what we learned last time. Vowels will make their short sound if the next 2 letters are consonants, or if the next 2 spaces is a consonant and just a space. So because these next 2 letters are consonants, that vowel is going to say I. It's going to make it short sound. So when we pencil read that word, we have I, O. Those 2 L's only make one sound, and we're dotting the sounds. We're not dotting the letters. So they only need one dot and one sound. So again, those sounds are I, O. Then you connect the dots slowly all in one breath. Ill, ill. Now I'm going to be quiet while you work on this next one. I will mark it right along with you, and then I will say it after you've had a chance to pronounce it on your own. So that I is going to make its short sound because the next two letters are either two consonants or a consonant and just a space here. There's no vowel, one or two doors down. So the I is going to say I. Remember that shape of that I, the shape of your mouth, has to be long, wide, narrow, and short. Your teeth can only be open wide enough that a piece of paper can go through there. If it's open anymore, then it will turn into the short E sound and say eh. We don't want that. We want to close it up and make sure that it sounds like I. So when we pencil read this word, we have s, I, s. Dots, it's sis, sis. All right, let's do the next one. You go ahead and I'll be quiet. So we know the sound for that I is going to be I because of the tap 2 rule. The sounds are s, I, t, sit, sit. Next, I have a feeling you're doing great. Keep going. The sound of your I is I, again, for the same reason. Because of the tap 2 rule, there's not a vowel, one or two doors down. Those sounds are s, I, p. Remember that P, this P, and this T are voiceless. Same with the S. There's only air, voiceless, no voice. The sound for S is S. Sound for T is, the sound for P is P, only air. So make sure that you say those clear, clean sounds of those letters when you read. If the sound, a lot of people think that the sound for P is P, but if that was the case, then this word would say sippa. So there's no at the end of these. The sound for T is not ta. If that's the case, this word would say sita. So the sound for T is t, sit. The sound for P is p, sip. So I just gave you what that word was. The sounds are s, I, p, sip, sip. Now L is a voiced letter. You are going to use your vocal cords or your voice box when you make the L sound. Remember that your tongue goes to the top, right behind the top of your teeth, and it's a continuous or sustained sound. Oh, if you let that tongue go, it's going to turn into la. And again, we don't want that on the end. It's not la with your jaw dropped. It's just a sustained oh. So make sure you make the sound correctly when you pencil read this word. Okay, I'll be quiet while you work. So the sound for I is I, again, because of the tap 2 rule. The next two letters are consonants. So when we pencil read this word, we have s, I, oh. When you connect those dots slowly, all in one breath, it sounds like sill, sill, sill. Now, if you would like, I would go through and read all of these words multiple times. If you want to pencil read them again, just to make sure you have them correct, that's fine. But after a while, it would be nice if you were to a point where you could read them without pencil reading them, just by kind of pencil reading them in your mind. You would go, make sure, the reason we pencil read is to make sure that we grab every single grapheme. After a while, after you're familiar enough with these words, you won't need your pencil, and you can kind of pencil read in your mind, just making sure that every grapheme does its job, and does its job in the right spot, that none of them get mixed around or in order. If you have these printed lessons, that is what these cards are for down here, for you to print out, cut up, and just kind of use as flashcards for you to practice your fluency. This up here, we're not going to go over all the sight words, which are irregularly spelled words. I don't use sight words the way that a lot of people do. Sight words are not high frequency words. They are certainly not decodable. We learn they're irregularly spelled words, and we learn those differently. We're not going to go into sight words, but true sight words in these lessons. So I'm going to skip this page in these lessons and only work on decoding these new words. But if you want to come down here and cut these up, or you can just do it on your own. You can make these words that we just read, create little flashcards for them so that you can practice reading them and developing your fluency. And then next time we will add one more letter or one more grapheme. Every time we meet, we're going to add one more grapheme into the mix of letters that we already have to create more and more complex words. Again, these first 10 lessons will only be one-syllable words. Then we're going to have a lot of practice just simply decoding more simple words. But beginning in lesson 11, when we hop over into the Learn Reading lessons, then those words are going to get quite long quite quickly. But don't worry, I'm going to give you the tools to read them. Comment below if you have any questions, and I'll do my best to answer them, and then I will see you in the next class.